We continue with our conversation on Sportscheck, and this is about motorsports, and we're with the leader of the 2023 Kenya National Rally Championship leader, Jasmeet Chana, better known as the Iceman, and he's been speaking about, the evolution of rallying and what he has felt, how he started with a Golf, moving on to, a powerful Toyota Celica, and now also moving on to the Evo 9 and eventually the Evo 10. And Jasmeet, let me just come to this, and you've said about the power of that car. How different was it from the light Mitsubishi Evo 9 that you later drove?
Well, the difference between the Celica and the Evo 9, the Celica had raw power from the word go. Whereas on the Evo 9, that's when manufacturers started bringing in active diffs, smart diffs. You could adjust the settings from the car inside from your palm. You set it to whatever you want and it does what you want to do.
Okay, in simple terms, because you work around rally cars a lot, active diff and the terms that you're using, what does that mean?
Well, all our old generation cars use mechanical diffs, which is the limited slip differential, which works on your road condition, on the load. Let's say if you're taking a high-speed left corner, when the left wheel starts grabbing or gets load, it shifts power to the right side, and that starts, grabbing the road as well. Whereas on the active diff, what we're using now, the new generation, is it's an hydraulic system that is going towards your center diff, and what that does is every corner you take, it shifts the pressure. If your front wheels feel there's a lot of load, it pushes the pressure to the back wheels. So you get an even distribution of power. When you have even distribution of power, you get better traction. So that's why you find most of these new cars, the Group N cars or the B13, coming into a corner and coming out of a corner, they don't slide a lot. Besides the driver forcing them to slide. That is in circumstances that depending on the surface.
No, we always love to see the sliding. You can't do the Kasarani Super Special and not slide. Then where have I gone there? I basically don't want to see you driving like me. That's the whole essence of enjoying rallying.
Yes.
But at the moment, and seeing the competition that has come in, especially with these powerful cars,
yes.
The Evo 9 years going into the Evo 10 years, we've seen a lot of speed being exhibited. We've seen Tundo, Baldevchaga, we've seen the Rai family. We've also seen them, even the local drivers, people like Isa Mwari, coming in and giving us a push. What has that competition brought? These powerful machines, how did it change the KNRC?
Well, like I said, we all looked at new generation machines. You have to move on with times. And I think each person started, bringing in one car. You look at the results, and, it became a trend where you see the results of that new car with the driver. And, in rallying, everything is about getting better and quicker. So I think everyone decided now it's time to move on, and that's how these machines started arriving here.
At the moment, there are the regulations that have come in, especially, let's talk with the WRC Kenya now being part of the World Rally, being part of the WRC calendar. What were the changes that you saw? You've mentioned, just to recap them, and how it has changed the way you prepare a rally car, given that, and also taking a look at maybe the differences in regulations that you have seen when you come in and participate in what I would call the KNRC in the safari.
Well, there is a big difference when it comes to WRC rally. If you were to enter the WRC rally, you cannot enter a B13 or a Group S car or a two-wheel drive car. You have to enter as a Group N car. There are certain safety aspects you need to homologate with. The fuel tank, the roll cages, your fire extinguishers have to be in order for you to participate in the WRC safari. for the Kenya National, firstly, you will abide by the rules of the National Rally event, not the WRC. You have a different clock, of course. You have a different deputy clock, of course, for the Kenya National. I would only say the only downfall we had this year is we actually started the rallying of Kenya National during the WRC in the second loop after the WRC. We got really bad roads, dug, rough, but possible. I hope in the future they think of us a bit more. Maybe after the first loop, they can...
As the others come into service, you go out.
Yes. And we actually did Kedong. I started the stage at around 5:15, and I enjoyed it, and we were out of there before 5:45. So, it was quite enjoyable, the sunset, evening time. It reminds you of old days rallying, though we've not done night events. I think I have actually done only one event in Mombasa at night.
Actually, how was that night event? Because everyone, the spectators wouldn't make it, but what was it driving, with the lights on your bonnet?
I feel I drove faster because you can't see the sights. The dangers you think of during the day, you can't see them because the lights are pointing at the road. So you're actually, concentrating just on the road.
Let's talk about the last 2 seasons for you, because you've been giving a push for this. Well, last year, you gave Karan Patel a push, right close to the end of it. What would you say was your experience in 2022? That's when we got to rallying proper post-COVID in the season.
Well, 2022, yes, we were very close. It was down to the wire, basically. But 2022, I'll never forget, because we had a bit of issues with my car for the last 4 to 5 rounds, where the turbo pipes kept on popping out. We never got to know what it was then. So the Woi rally was the last event, and we gave it quite a big of a push, in the stage, and again the pipe popped out, but we managed quickly to put it back in and move on. I would call that rallying. It's not all sweet every day, but yes, it showed me my potential. It showed me where I can push, and we continued from there into the next year, which is 2023, and we're just gradually pushing more and more each rally. For Safari, you never drive as a KNRC. You respect it for what it is. Whether you're doing part of Kenya National in the WRC, but you still respect it. It's a car breaker, and if you don't use your head, you aren't coming back. Yeah.
Now let's talk about this season so far. The events that you have been there. You finished third in Machakos, finished third in Voi, the Equator Rally. Just tell us about those 2 events first.
Well, Machakos, I think, being the first rally, like I always tell myself, I was sleeping in the first 3 stages. Gradually woke up, but it was too late. We were already finishing the rally. But we took it, lightly and said, first rally of the event. We learned from each rally. And then we went into Equator. Equator, we had some good competition. Jasmeet from Uganda. We have our locals. I think we have very good talent in Kenya coming to rallying. It's just we have not been given the opportunities to show our talent. We have very many local drivers, have potential to drive rally cars. But it comes down to, sponsorship, getting the vehicle. And that's why us as drivers are asking the federation, please bring grassroots rallying back, the training rallies. Let local talent, new talent start rallying. It doesn't have to be an expensive car. Give them a pro box, make sure it's got a roll cage. Give them a stage of 20 kilometers, repeat it 3 times. It's a learning curve. And that's what I think.
Well, if you talk about a Pro Box, then I know where people are going to come from. All of them will come from Embu. We see how they drive on Thika Road with whatever produce they have.
Yeah.
And the Nakuru Rally, what was different about that, winning that?
Well, I think by then we'd sorted out the car.
Including the
turbo issues, yes. We finally found the problems. Our recce was really well. We used some new notes. We added some more information in our notes where I thought, I was losing time. So that made a very big difference. And we're going to continue. We did use it in the Safari, but like I said, we respected the Safari. And we didn't drive 100%. I must have driven Safari at around 60 to 65%. But now that we're back in the national event, we have the Eldoret Rally this weekend. I think we'll push for it again. We need to be in the top 3 podium, just to make sure that our lead stays in the gap.
Well, leading by 54 points is Jasmeet. Chana. He's got 114. Mark Kimathi is on 60, so that's a huge one, and he's got to do it. Heading to the rest of the season, for people to understand, first of all, what does it mean for you, the 200,000 shillings that came in for your team from the Cabinet Secretary's Hongera Awards as you head to Eldoret this weekend? What would that take care of, in context?
Well, firstly, I would like to thank the CS himself. In my rallying career, this is the first time that we have been rewarded by a cash reward. I used to hear in the olden days, they used to get these rewards as well, mostly in the Safari, the Marlborough Safari. And, for me, this amount is a big help. Because, when it comes to logistics, whether a national event or a WRC, it costs a lot. We have the service truck to move around, we have the mechanics to move around, recce, there's a lot of things involved where, you need to use cash, and this will take us a long way. And I really appreciate of what he has done for us. And I hope, things get better in the federation, and things will look better in the future.
Actually, just to think of it, if you go to Eldoret, about how much would it cost just for you to do the recce and get the service track to the service park?
Well, you now know fuel prices have gone up, so getting the truck up there to and fro, I'm looking around 50,000 bob. Doing the recce depends on what car you use, but whatever the case, you're looking at a minimum of 20,000 bob fuel costs for recce.
That is 2 runs of 350 kilometers each.
Yes. So you're looking at around 100,000 just, doing small things, fueling, making sure logistics are in place. And then don't forget, during the rally, the same cars have to move to and fro, where you have the quick car, which will be, in case of anything that happens, that is all counted in this. So, yes, it makes a big difference.
Looking at the rest of the season, how do you intend to attack the remaining 5 rallies that we have been lined up? There's Eldoret, I know the Kenya Motorsports Club haven't done one, the Kenya Rally team haven't done one, Simba Union, Sikh Union now, they also have got one to prepare, and the Mombasa Motor Club.
I ask that question to myself every day. What is the next strategy? I tell myself, firstly, a rally is won in the workshop. 80% of rallying is won in the workshop. If your car is not fit, you're not going anywhere. The 20% now is all up to me. And yes, we are psyched, me and Ravi are psyched. But at the same time, we are going to use our head to make sure that, we're in the podium. We don't need to win a rally anymore. If you do your calculations, the pressure is not on me. The monkey is on someone else's back. So the pressure is not on me. I just have to make sure that I finish in my podium. The rest can fight for a win, and we'll see how it goes after that.
Now that you've mentioned that, but especially about the workshop, which are the critical areas that you always look for in your car before you head to any rally? I know the suspension is one, and also making sure you don't have these fires. What are the things you check?
Well, like basically after the WRC being the way it was, the car was actually stripped 2 days later. We just put it back about a week and a half ago. It's all ready now. Basically what we do is strip everything, remove it out, check for cracks. The gearbox, engine, diffs are inspected, dry shafts. You know, these are moving parts that you need to look at. Your brake discs, because they go hot and you go through water, they get cracks. So you have to make sure all these things are in running condition. So basically, yes, we have to go through everything to make sure you have a 100% car.
After testing, how do you feel this? How do you find the car now that you've put it all back?
Well, you know, every time you do a rally and then have a break and then go and test a car, you always feel different. Well, I do. You know, you tell yourself, this is working better than what it was, but it is actually the same thing. It's all a mindset. But basically, all to all, the car is running well, and we're ready for Eldoret.
Staying fit as a rally driver, because it can drain you. I can imagine, for example, you're going to do 2 loops of 70 kilometers in roads that, you know, at times can break an ordinary person. You're driving at high speed and all that. Do you stay fit every day?
Well, let me tell you the truth, Daniel. I don't do no gym. The most I do is walk, but because of our workshop, you know, the daily, I make sure that, you know, I'm not sitting idle. You're always up and down. About 10 years ago, you would have seen me. I was not the same. I was quite big. It was a task at that time, you know, concentration in the car, long stages. You would get tired. No doubt about it, yes. But now, after losing that weight, I have maximum concentration. The driving is 100%. It makes a big difference. You know, I used to think, people used to tell me, you know, you should start exercising in this. Now I realize, yes, it's true. You need to be fit to drive at that capacity.
Well, what's his name? Kaito was told that if he loses 7 kgs, he's going to be half a second faster. Yeah. How much faster did you become after sharing that weight? Quite
fast. It does make a big difference in the car as well. You know, we always sit in a car thinking it doesn't make a difference with the driver or the navigator being heavy. It does make a difference. You know, I've never judged it on how many kilometers per hour quicker you've become, but you can feel the car lighter or a bit quicker. I felt that in the 2-wheel drive car. I would, you know, have friends who are a bit big. You'd take them for a ride and you'll be like, this car doesn't behave the same, something's not right. But when you drive alone or with a lighter person, you're quicker. Yeah.
Jasmeet, Chana, headed to Eldoret this weekend. All the best.
Thank you.
And that rally is going to be around Kaptagat. There are 8 stages. There is one that's going to be run 3 times. So look out for that, 140 km. So if you're in Eldoret on the 5th of August, be sure to look out for those cars. Head towards Kaptagat Forest and around that area, as they would say, as you move around E10, and everyone will be enjoying the fast drivers, and let's see how he performs. Wish you all the best. And yeah, just a word from one of your competitors. They say they missed Nakuru, and they say they felt missing those points. So they really want to close the gap on you.
They're welcome.
All right. So rally fans, Eldoret it is this weekend. We take a short break, and when we come back, let's talk about baseball. Because in Kenya, we have got one huge league, and it is known as the Baseball for Africa. Started 19 years ago. Right now, everyone's playing it, and they had an event over the weekend. George Kenuthi Wachira and Dedan Kariuki join us in a short while.